Are you tired of all the dating games, rules, and societal norms that make falling in love confusing and stressful?
Then join us as we ditch the script and empower you to establish healthy, conscious relationships.
This weekly podcast breaks down popular dating reality television and educates you on healthy versus toxic dating habits.
I'm Brianna, a licensed therapist.
And I'm Alex, a trauma-informed and certified narcissist recovery coach.
Are you ready to ditch the script?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Jax thinks we're nuts.
Oh, I didn't appreciate that we probably excited him a little bit too much.
No, it's okay. He just came up here and was like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like,
We were Hulk smashing.
duh.
That was actually quite therapeutic for me. Thank you.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Yeah. I love to guttural scream.
Me too. It feels so nice. When Jack's like growl, sometimes when I'm like punching pillows or doing whatever I need to do to like complete my stress response, he'll start to growl because he thinks we're playing. So he's like "Rrr," with like his toys, and then I look at him and I'm like "Rrr," right back at him.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'll growl with you. Let's growl together.
Speaking of completing a stress response, so I've been really sick, and while I definitely sound like I'm not over it yet, I yesterday, everything hurts. Sexy. Yesterday was like the first day that I started to feel like myself a little bit more. And then I damaged my body with alcohol. So we are one step forward and two very big steps backwards. But I was starting to feel like myself, and I was outside and I had my earbuds in and they're wireless. And I was like listening to music, and Tucker was like, he needed to get a wiggle out. And I was just like dancing in my yard. And I was like, wow, I feel so fucking free in this moment. Thank God.
That sounds so amazing.
Yeah. It was so brief.
I love it.
Yeah, I was just vibing. I love that no one can fucking see what I'm doing here.
Yeah. It's nice.
So nice.
Privacy. Imagine that.
Living alone is just the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's so amazing, isn't it? It's like you never go back. I can't have roommates unless they're a partner now.
And honestly, at that rate, I don't even know how I feel about that.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing. I'm still like, I think I want my own bedroom. Like, at least to be able to retreat to. Like, I still love sleeping next to my partner, but it's like, I definitely want my own space to be able to retreat to on nights where it's like, I need a good night's sleep, or like, I'm just in my feels and like want space, like whatever it is, you know?
I know couples who do it. Share a space, share a home, have their own bedrooms, have sleepovers.
Yeah.
You know? And get good night's sleep all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe not all the time, but like, you know what I mean? More often than they would if they were sharing a bed.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't knock it till you fucking try it.
For real. Yeah. I mean, you know, back in like old school Victorian era, the man and woman of the house they never shared a room. It's only like more recently where we're like, we have this societal expectation that like, if you're like, I'm going to put air quotes around this, if you're in a healthy relationship that's really loving, then you are always together in your bed and everything's wonderful. And it's like, it's so, again, we are humans, we have limited capacities, and so it's like sometimes we need to retreat inwards, and it's like it actually serves us. I would much rather get a wonderful night's sleep and not be so irritated at my partner than force myself to share a bed with them, not get a good night's sleep, and just continue to be irritated at them.
Right. Oh my God. Okay, I'm like slightly triggered because I was just having a really annoying conversation with the person who I'm no longer dating anymore. And we were talking about like, you know, kind of leveling up the relationship till our conclusive demise. And this person was like, kind of letting me know that he was unsure if that meant that the expectations would then be that we saw each other every day. And I was like, I don't want to see you every day.
No.
I don't want to see anyone every day.
What the fuck? What have we done to ourselves? What have we done to ourselves?
I was like, please, I don't want to see you any more than I already do. That is enough.
Oh my God. And it's not that, like, so for me, it's like, I like my partners so much. It's not that it's like a reflection of them. It's way more just like me and taking care of my fucking self and like my priorities and the things I have going on in my life. It's not a reflection of how I feel about them. It's just like, I want to make sure I'm the best version of me, which means I need space between the times that we see each other. And like, assuming, you know, whoever I do end up with, like living with my partner, whatever, like when that happens again, it's like I'm still gonna want to have some time to myself. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. It doesn't mean that we're doomed or anything. It's just I'm taking care of my human so I can be an amazing partner and coach and everything else. Like, yo.
Truly. So, wow, not what we were planning on talking about, but here we are.
I feel like that happens so much.
So often, I know.
It's like the universe is like, no, we're talking about this.
No, we're talking about the fact that if you like being alone, you need to continue to create and carve out space to be alone. And that the objective of our relationship needs to be in unison. Like we need to be in unison and we need to be doing everything together in order to feel like we're good or whatever is such baloney. And maybe there's some people where that is incredibly true for. It's just not for you and me. Yeah. So I just really hope that the next person that I meet understands, like, or the next person that I date rather understands that, like, I need time alone. I need time with other people. I'm very much like way in the middle of a introverted and extroverted scale.
You're an ambivert. That's what it is.
I am an ambivert. Yeah, big time. Yeah. And I just like, and that includes the partnership too. So yeah, living alone it rocks, and it makes me question how I will factor in a relationship and cohabiting with someone that's my partner. That will be hard.
It's an interesting situation, but it's totally navigatable, especially with the right person, which you will choose. So
yeah,
we're Gucci.
Speaking of looking for new people to choose, ha, segue. So dating is always around the corner in my life, I guess, and I had been like, I think towards the end of this relationship, I was like, okay, yeah, like would love to see who else is out there because like I said last episode, like I feel really in alignment with what I want and what I'm looking for. 100. So I feel more familiar with what those things are now than I did when I entered the last relationship. So I'm like, fuck yeah, like my filters are tuned up and I'm going to get out in these streets. The streets are calling. I'm answering. Like, let's go. And so I downloaded my dating app and I uploaded all my little pictures. I know.
I didn't know this. I'm so excited.
I know. Well, and then I like, it's all fun and games until you have to do something about
Talk
it. Right?
To somebody.
But yeah, literally.
It's like swiping's kind of fun, but like, oh God. Now I have to talk to you.
Like with me with my little violin, I'm getting matches. So I'm like, oh no. I was like, I have to talk to them and I have to talk to them soon. Otherwise these matches are going to go away. And then what would be the point of even doing this? Like, it's okay if I let them go. It's fine. There's no issue with that. If you don't want to answer, you don't answer. It's okay. But I was like, I'll be annoyed with myself. So I answered and I was like, Brianna, remember this moment. I'm like, if I don't think I'm quite ready, I'm not quite there, like I love the energy that I'm coming with. I love how I'm feeling about myself right now. I'm loving how like I feel, like I said, in alignment with what I want, where I'm headed. And that doesn't, if I don't feel like I'm ready to like go meet a brand new person this week, because it would be like, yeah, you want to connect just enough to be able to be like, when do you want to get a drink? If I'm not ready to do that this week, girl, hit the pause button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Take a breather. It's fine.
Totally. Yeah. And a lot of the times, like, so I had a client ask me that last week. They're like, how do you know when you're really ready? I'm like, how do we ever know we're really ready for fucking anything? We don't. Did you feel ready going to college? Did you feel ready? Like, and in this context, they had left a narcissistically abusive relationship. And so I was like, did you feel ready to leave your narcissistic ex when you did it? It's like, no, we don't. We don't ever really feel ready in the idea, in this like, you know, whatever the fuck that really means. Like, we think we are going to feel some kind of way and that means we're ready, and it's like, not necessarily. And so here's my thing is, I always am like, you can take it day by fucking day, hour by fucking hour. Maybe you wake up and you are in a mood to like be flirty and banter and swipe and match and chit chat, and then something happens at lunch and you're like, I'm not really feeling it anymore, I just want to go be horizontal on my couch. Put it down, right? And same from like day to day. It's like, go with the ebb and flow, because I truly believe what's meant for any of us isn't gonna miss us. So it's like, even if you do have matches and they end up like falling off, instead of like pushing yourself to respond, let it fucking fall off. There's the potential for you to rematch with them on that same app, on a different app, because let's be real, we're all on multiple apps. And so it's just like, yo, go with your flow, because I truly believe the inner prompts we have for like, one, when we feel flirty and like really magnetic and shit, but then also when it's like, ooh, my human speaking up. I think when we just honor that, it all falls into place the way that it's supposed to, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, but I didn't know you were on apps. I'm really fucking stoked about that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on them and I was like, oh no. I want to meet new people. I just don't know if I'm ready to meet new people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay.
It's the only way to describe it. I am thinking about connecting with someone that I had exchanged information with that was like so clearly would be like a casual nothing, you know?
Great. Just some fun, flirty, casual nothing.
And whatever else is an extension of a fun, flirty, casual nothing.
I'm down.
Being that
You know
this
how I feel
person
about
is,
those.
yeah, if the terms and agreements are agreed upon, are termed and agreed upon, then it's really good.
It's so good.
I don't have a lot of experience with that, if I'm honest.
Oh my God, like, I love talking about casual sexual relationships. I think they're great.
I don't have them because all of the casual sexual relationships I have been in have been me secretly waiting for them to decide that they wanted to date me.
Yeah, it's about the mindset. I feel you.
Yeah. And I feel like in a really different place, because when I met this person, it was like randomly I was out and we just kind of like vibed, but this person is 25.
Okay.
And yeah. No. The age ain't nothing. The age ain't nothing. But because this person's 25, I don't take this person seriously as like you can be a partner for me. I don't want to make too many assumptions about this person, but methinks they can't do much for me in the way in which I need them. I need a partner right now. Yeah. So it just is really different. Whereas if I was 25 and I met this person, I'd be like, when are they going to text me? When are they going to hit me up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never felt like that before. I've always been like, okay, great. We will have a casual relationship until they realize that they're in love with me. Done. And then we're going to have a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I think that's something that everyone goes through. I went through that, and then I got really honest with myself and was like, yo, like you, like I get to decide. And like that's kind of the motto that I keep and really worked through, like when I was having casual whatevers. It's like when I'm in an energy of like, I want to have pleasurable intimacy that has no strings attached, that's fleeting, that's just like, you know, quite literally satisfying a desire I have without any intention of like going somewhere with it. It really is a mindset. At the end of the day, it's a mindset. And what Brie just said, like having that awareness, am I having sex with you so that I can convince you to like me and be with me? If that is what's going on in your mind, be honest with yourself and don't have sex from that place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it will always come back to bite you in the ass. But if you're truly like, I don't really give a fuck, and like I'm just in this for what I can get out of it, and like that's been communicated and the other person is consenting, sex is sex. Sex is sex. And it's a good time. So it's like, yo, the end.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm trying to take this show on the road. You know what I mean?
Take it on the road.
I feel like a performing artist that has like just finished an album.
And you're like,
and yeah. Which city am I going to on tour next? Obviously, I don't want to go anywhere but my bed right now. But when I'm all rested up, I'm taking the album on tour.
Word. There was, who's the guy? I have to look this up. So I don't know if anyone has seen Intergalactic on Netflix. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I think it's a work of art, but because of that, I of course put the entire Kid Cudi Intergalactic album on my phone. And
amazing
on
album.
That, yeah, on that he has, who's the artist? Oh, Ty Dolla $ign. So I was telling my friend about how obsessed with this album I am. And they're like, oh, I've been to a Ty Dolla $ign like concert before or whatever. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. At the end, they were like, if anyone wants to fuck, meet me over here. Like very, and I'm just like, what? And so at first I was like, whoa, that feels really icky to me. But then I was like, also it's consensual and very much just owning what it is. So it's kind of like very clear communication.
He's not saying this section over here, I demand you to have sex with me after the show. He's like, if you want to fuck.
If you want to. And I was like, so maybe it's actually kind of okay. Compared to it being like predatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like manipulative. Yeah.
It is a little bizarre, I'd say.
I mean, yo, this was also this person's version of the story, and so it could be like a game of telephone or whatever. So we're gonna make room for that. But as far as like, but that's what it is. It's I've literally had those conversations with people before. I've been like, yo, I'm on the rebound, so I'm not looking for anything. But if you're DTF, I'm DTF. And it's never been ill received ever. It's never
if you're
been
DTF, LFG.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Wow, that was so fun.
Should we just end the episode here? Just like, all right.
Just gonna be like, let's just end it.
Yeah. But we have to go back to Japan. Yo, though, where we go on this episode of Japan, I literally am like, whoa, my note here is, whoa, where the F are they? Brie, I want to propose to you so that we can go there someday.
Yeah. Okay. So they go to Okinawa, and Okinawa is an island south of Japan. It's Japan technically, but it's like south of Tokyo and like all of that area. I was looking it up because I was like, this place is fucking dope.
Well, I want to go to this resort. It's goddamn beautiful.
I want to go to this resort. Okinawa is stunning. This resort is stunning. I don't know anything else about it outside of this, but would love to go. We just need to save a couple G's and a lot of time because the flights, baby girl, we're looking at 13-hour flights. Maybe more for you. Yeah. More for you, less for you. More for you, less for you.
I would fly to you and then we'd go. No, I think you should fly to me because when people fly to Japan, they go west. Yeah. So you come here and then we'll go.
More for me. Okay, gotcha.
More for you. But yeah, just come here and let's fucking go.
Oh my God, I'm trying to go there so bad.
Hoshinoya, right? Is that the name of the resort? Hoshinoya, Okinawa. Yeah, I looked it up. I'm on the website. I'm booking
Can
it.
we go Okinawa
right
right
now.
now?
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now.
Now.
Okay, so it's going
Okay,
on
but
the visual. What's it called?
oh,
Vision
are you
board.
doing like a vision board? Sweet. I need
I'm
to like
adding
get a
it.
poster. You know what I want to get into? I want to get into like
Hmm.
collaging.
Let's do it. Should we
I
have
want
like
to
a
collage a
weekly
vision board.
collage date? It's so fun.
Yeah, I really should. Like some of my clients collage and like they love it. And I the thing that I love about collaging, especially for someone like me who's really not artistically like creative, like
Mm,
I can't really draw. I don't have a lot of like cool visual ideas when it comes to pen on paper, like marker on
right.
paper. Like I don't have it. I don't have that in me.
Same.
And I'm okay with that. But it means that starting from scratch in a artistic creative way like that is very overwhelming for me and just sort of sets off my shutdown response where I'm like, I don't like
Mm,
this. I'm sad. I'm done here. I've always been like that since I was like a tiny tot.
yeah.
But with collaging, you're not really starting from scratch because you're pulling from materials that already exist. And you just have to like
Exactly.
cut out what speaks to you, colors, words, phrases, images,
Yeah.
blah. And it's just like, and I've been listening to a lot of like grief books lately, and
Mm,
they've been talking about collaging as a form of like therapeutic processing, and the reason why people like it is because of what we were just saying. And like magazines are expensive, don't buy them. Know when your recycling dates are, and do something that's borderline illegal, and take stuff out of people's recycling bins that we're going to get tossed anyway.
is that borderline illegal?
I think there's something a little dumpster divey about it.
Yeah, it's dumpster diving, but like illegal. Like they're
Illegal?
throwing it out anyway. People
Any
go
of
through
our
our recycling all the time.
okay, word. Any of our lawyer baddies that are listening, if you could drop a line
Yeah.
and let us know.
Or like old magazines at salons that they're getting rid of anyway, or
Mm,
hotels. Like I'm sure they would happily just give them to you, you know? Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Word.
Okay, cool. So that's what we're gonna do.
Done.
We can't get too excited about Okinawa because we have to wrap up our engagements and then name who all of our couples are.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
So,
We learn that Ayano writes Show a letter, which I wish someone read it to us. I
Reddit,
wanted
I
to read
know.
it. But Show is dumped
Very
effectively.
upset. He was like, "Are you kidding me?" Excuse me for the yawn. And then
He was
and then
sorry.
goes into the gentleman's quarters and like chucks his notepad and like curls up in a ball and is like emoting. And then I thought it was so cute how all the guys came over and just like gave him a hug and loved on him. And then Odachi went
Mm,
over and like picked up his journal and his pen. It was just cute.
yeah,
I
they
love
take
that.
care
I
of each
love
other.
seeing men supporting men. I really love it.
I feel like we see a
Yeah.
lot of it in this
Yeah.
particular show.
Yeah.
Like the men
Way
are
more.
absolutely holding it down for each
Yeah.
other.
They don't have it out for each other. Like especially like in the last Love is Blind, we saw like there was a lot of like I'm a still your girl energy. And
Right.
so I'm really happy that that's not a thing here. What?
No, I just liked how you said that. And it's true. Like these guys are holding a lot more space for each other emotionally, um,
Yeah.
which I thought was a total vibe this whole time.
It was.
Well, you had said something in our last episode. You were saying something about a conversation that Odachi and Sho had.
Yeah, Odachi just was like, from what I've seen from you here, he's like, I think you get so in your head about how do I need to be,
Mm,
in order to be chosen, just like
mm,
Ayano. And he was like, he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, so don't quote me, but he says something to the effect of like, your strength is seeing people, and so like lead with that. And so then
mm.
that's the next scene where we see Sho very much do that with Ayano and
Right.
kind of say
Gotcha.
like, "Hey, I can tell you're not expressing yourself. Like, what's coming up for you?"
Yeah.
Um, And so I loved that Odachi spoke life into him and confirmed his like strength and like saw that in him and was trying to guide him in a positive light instead of being like, I feel like sometimes when men seek counsel and other men around like attracting women, they can give really unhealthy advice and really like bullshit, like play it cool, don't let her see, and like, puff out your chest type like posture alpha male bullshit. And Odachi was way more like, yo, lead with your strengths and this is your strength, like honor it, respect it, adore it about yourself, yeah, so that's that.
Gorge.
Yeah.
Absolute gorge. So Shantaro and Ayano continue to connect. Ayano says that Shantaro moves her, and she decides that she wants to pick him, and he proposes to her. He says he wants to. This was weird to me. He was
okay,
like,
tell me.
I know that I've been telling you I want to make you happy, and I've been describing all of the ways I can make you happy, but what I really want to express is that I need you.
Oh, I missed that totally.
Yeah. And I was like, I might be missing something. We might be missing something in translation.
Maybe.
And maybe even just context in general.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if we should be needing.
Yeah.
And
I want my partner to want me, not need me. That's
100%.
too much pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, way too much. Also, he was saying that like Ayano changed something in him, and I'm like, what did she change in you?
I feel like if anything, it's the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. So do you think Shintaro, it's lip service? I don't know. I feel like it's too early to tell with him.
It's too early. We really haven't gotten to see enough of him. Like, I don't know who
No.
Shintaro is.
I don't really I feel like it's all like when we were, so when Brie and I were voice noting yesterday, because I watched all 4 episodes yesterday, there was something you said, you were like, we get into it, but like, because like everything's been so healthy. And I'm like, I still feel like we have like, I'm just excited to see these people get triggered and like see how they handle it. And we start to see a little bit of it, but it's like, it's so surface level and like good that it's hard to like kind of pinpoint anyone's vices. I know they're sitting there talking about vices a lot, but I'm like, I'm not seeing any of this shit pop up right now.
Dude, thank you for saying that. That is exactly how I was starting to actually get a little frustrated in like the pod era, because I was just like, all right, like when are we going to get kind of real about this? Like, when are we going to see people really navigate their nooks and crannies? Like, let's get into it. And I just feel like, and again, maybe this is more culturally relevant than, and to which I don't know enough about, but I was just like, I don't feel like these folks are giving them, like, we're not seeing any conflict, not seeing a lot of conflict. And I want to, because I want to learn about you through your conflict.
Exactly.
Period.
And I think it's healthy for them to see each other in their in conflict.
Yeah.
It's like, yo.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to touch on because it does start to come up towards the end.
Oh, we get there. We
will get there. So Shintaro proposes to Ayano. Ayano says yes. The other couple that we see is Karo and Misaki. Which I thought this was interesting because he was like all about it. He's like, he basically is straight up telling her, like, yo, I'm gonna propose to you tomorrow, so dress up. See you then. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like literally was just that. And then I guess it was the same day because she was in the same outfit and she like summons him back to the pod.
She summons him.
I really want to know, like, does she just tell a producer, like, hey, I want to talk to him again? Is there like bells that you can ring? Like, ding, ding, ding.
I had the same thought, but we don't know, of course.
It's probably just that, like, super unsexy. So they come back to their pod and Karo basically, she just straight up says, like, I'm not where you are yet. Now, here's what's weird to me is she says, I'm not where you are yet. He's like, that's okay. I'm willing to wait. Like, it doesn't freak me out. Like, that's fine. Totally respectful. Thank you. Misaki for not like taking it personally, getting defensive, being weird about it. He just was like, okay, heard, respect it, it's fine. But then literally the next time we see them is them dressed up and he proposes and she says yes. So I'm a little confused because it's like, what happened?
There's one conversation.
Between?
There's one. Well, I guess no, you're right. You're right. The conversation that you were just speaking on was when she was like, "I'm hesitant. I just need you to be patient with me because I need help." But there may have been more time that they spent together, but we just didn't see any of it.
Yeah, because it was just like
it was nothing, and then they proposed, and she was like, "I'm cautious," and we were like, "Yeah, we heard."
Yeah, it was weird.
But now you're engaged.
Yeah. So when Karo and Misaki meet each other face to face, she dresses in a legitimate kimono getup. She looked stunning. Stunning. I love that. And they're definitely attracted to each other. So I'm excited to see what comes of them. Although she starts to say some things that have me kind of like, do you like this guy? But we'll get there.
Hard to tell. And I think like he seems like a little bit more of a relaxed individual in general.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's guarded. And I get it. Like, I think what she speaks to a little bit is like, I come from a family of tension. Like, there's stuff with her family that she is protecting herself from, I think, reliving or creating herself, which makes so much sense. Entirely relevant, I guess, no matter what culture you're from. And I think it's for her, she's like recognizing that she likes this person, and his personality and who he is probably someone that takes her by surprise that she likes so much, but she does like him. And yet they're both different people. Like he feels kind of relaxed, and he says, he's like, I can't wait to meet her in a more relaxed setting. Like, this feels so formal, and like, I want to get to know who she is. And I think she's just appropriately guarded and having a hard time, like, letting her be herself, like the way that she is with like the other girls and stuff.
Yeah. And he's way more, I think he's less traditional and way more playful, which is a contrast to her traditional seriousness. But what I think is going to be the bridge, or what I hope becomes the bridge, is her artistry and like how she expresses herself. I think he's going to be very available to like be there with her in that and like support her through that. So yeah, I'm excited to see where those two go. I put here in my notes, I was like, overall, I feel the couples are starting off at a healthier point than what we've seen in like the Americanized version of this show.
Yes.
I said they seem to take their time more and ask better questions. They also seem to be much less hung up on looks.
Yes.
And yeah, that's that. That's what I have.
Well, our American like rhetoric when it comes to dating and attraction is so
sex focused.
And in comparison feels so prioritized. It's like I need to want to like rip their clothes off, and it's all very like primal, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that it can interfere, like kind of what we were talking about in the last episode. It just can like interfere with what other values might reveal themselves if you actually just care about other things in addition to how attracted you are to them.
Yeah, it's not the sustainable thing. Like, it's not the thing that's going to make or break your relationship in the long run. It's just not. Yeah, so I think I'm honestly, I will voice note you later with the private conversation I want to have with you. I don't feel equipped enough to have that conversation here on the podcast. So sorry guys, love you.
Oh my God, I love having the BTS.
Okay,
I love it.
So anyway, we see Ayano. So now we travel to Okinawa, and go ahead.
Before we do, can we just do a quick rundown of all of the couples? Because there are many. There's so many. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 couples, and typically on like our American Love Is Blind, we get like maybe 6.
Okay.
Maybe.
See, I didn't notice that. So tell me.
We have Odachi and Nanako.
Yes. The OGs.
Midori and Wataru.
Amazing. Love them. They're my favorite.
Me too. Priya and Mizuki.
Mm-hmm.
Yudai and Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Matomi and Rotaro.
Mm-hmm.
Mori and Minami. Ayano and Shuntaro. What are you laughing at? The soul you made up?
No, I'm not. And he exists.
He exists.
But no, the names sound so familiar that I'm trying. Like, as you keep going, I'm like, wait, what are their faces? Like, I'm trying to remember, like, who's who. Yeah.
This is why I had to write this down. Mori and Minami, Ayano and Shuntaro, and Misaki and Karo.
Cool.
You got it.
I got it. Okay, so we make it to
two dumb white bitches. Just two dumb white bitches, just like knuckling it through. Yes, you're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We are traveling to Okinawa.
Good. And we first see Ayano and Shintaro playing a round of golf. And it's clear that, like, I'm not sure if Ayano's, I don't want to say, like, this is her first time golfing. It seems like it. So she's very much a novice, and Shintaro seems to be, like, a fucking golf pro. This would be me and my boyfriend if we went golfing, because apparently he's a great golfer. And I'm like, how do I hold this club? How do I not whack you with it? I don't know jack shit about it. But here's what I thought was so cute is, like, Shintaro in his confessional was like, you know, I hope in time, like, we naturally start to hold hands and connect. And then by the time they start to wrap up their golf session, he grabs her hand, and Ayano loved it, which I thought was super cute. And really, they both express that they're focusing on being their authentic selves together. And she admits that she's still trying to figure out how much the age difference impacts her and, like, all of that. So that's kind of where we're at with that couple. Not too much.
No, I think, like, of what we do get to see of them, like, you get to see a little bit more of Shintaro's, like, typical, like, his aura, his energy. Yeah. And he's like a kind of quiet and soft presence, but a protective one. Like, even the body language, like, he'll, like, stand behind her and, like, you know, he's a lot taller than she is. He's just, like, a bigger dude in general. And I think that I don't know, it's honestly giving a little, like, father-daughter, but also, like, protector, you know, princess vibe. So I'm curious to see if Ayano's stuff with herself continues to come up, or if she's just gonna, like, temper it all and just, like, put it away and not show up really.
Yo, I have no clue, but I'm with you. I'm, like, so plugged in to see. I'm just fascinated. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to see. Yeah. Cannot wait to see. Who do you want to go to next?
I just had one note where I thought it was weird when the hosts told Matomi that she looked like Rotaro's older sister.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Yeah. But I think generally, before we start talking about each couple, I think what generally it feels like people's priorities in unison really feels like is they want to know that they can feel like themselves with their partner that they chose.
Yeah, great thing to focus on.
Yeah. And I thought that it was interesting that so many of them felt that way and expressed it in their own way, but saying the same thing. Like, I just want to feel like I can be myself, and I want to know that I'm going to be able to be comfortable with this person. And I think what we're starting to see is, like, each individual and I guess as couples, are they people that like to spend quality time together doing stuff? Are they people that like to spend quality time not doing stuff and just chilling and, like, laying down and, like, keeping it really low key? Me too. I also need a mix.
I need a mix.
Feels very important to me.
Yeah, same. I feel like I'm starting to really realize that in my current relationship too. Because it's like, in my last relationship, especially because of COVID, there wasn't much social events. And so it was, like, just us two always chilling on the couch. And that was, like, like, draining for me. Because I think it's so sexy. Like, one of the sexiest things is to see my partner engage with friends and, like, have that. I think it, like, that really is a turn on for me. in its own weird way. And so now, like, there have been a few times with my new partner where we've been so social where I'm like, oh my God, I need to rein it in. Like, I need a break. So it's like, I'm starting to kind of figure out, and I'm still judging at this to figure out like how much of like what a balance looks like the ratio out to being in. But I think it's something that every couple has to navigate, especially when it's a new partnership. You know, you're still learning each other. And then because of every partnership being a different connection, a different vibe between the partners, I think that also caters to how much in versus out time you need too, you know? So yeah. What I think is, sorry, go ahead. Were you going to add to that? Oh.
Echoing it. I feel the same way. I think the only thing that comes up for me, I need both. And I don't think that I've spent a lot of time with a partner doing nothing much at all. Because a lot of my relationships have been really short-lived. So they sort of are always like, we're doing stuff, and we're just still doing more stuff. And then we're broken up. So I really look forward to the opportunity to just kind of be alone together, because my alone time is spent alone. And there's a small fear that comes up that's like, will this person still like me if I'm not stimulating to them?
I so get that. I feel the same fucking way.
Yeah. So much of my sense of self originally was founded on, how do I make other people feel? Yeah. Now it's developed, it's grown. It's that and a lot of other things that are not just like reactive to others. Yeah. But it has been the thing that is like my fucking, it's how I cash in a lot of ways in my life, is like, I'm a character in so many people's worlds, and when we're spending time together, we're like out in the world doing stuff. Yeah. So I really need to, I think it will be really important for me to feel safe with someone doing nothing and knowing that they're like, that's okay. I know that that's okay, but I think it's like the younger me that needs to know that hasn't had that like disproved yet.
Exactly. I feel like for me, like being in the performing arts where it's like I was an entertainer, I feel like and I noticed this in my current relationship just a few weeks ago, where it was like, I feel like I have to entertain them. And if I'm not entertaining them, like, then how can they like me? Like, if I'm not, being on all the time. And my partner actually was like, well, I can be around you when you're not. Like, you don't need to, like, no matter what your battery level is at, if you will, like, I'm happy to just be around. And so I feel like what I've been doing since that conversation is letting them know, like, I'm low energy today, so like we're chilling, or hey, I'm feeling like up. Do you want to go to the pool? What do you want to do? And so that's been something that I've really appreciated in who I'm seeing right now. It's like it's nice that they validated that for me. And also they started doing the same with me. I noticed the other day they were like, yo, I'm really fucking tired. So, so it's just like, it's nice because we can't always be on, and to have that expectation put on ourselves is like a lot of pressure.
Well, like something that Maury and Minami did was like they were reading together. Yeah. And that's like a fever dream for me. Like, and I want that really badly.
I have had that in my previous relationship, and it was just like, it's nice to be able to do that. And so I know for sure in the relationship I'm in now, I'll be able to bring that in. It's just when that comfortability to be able to get there, and we're just starting to get there is how I'm feeling. So one little baby step at a time, but it just is a funky thing. It's a funky thing to navigate that shift from like, we're first meeting, and like when you are first meeting, you're going out, like you said, a lot more, you're way more social, you're meeting each other's friends, family, like whatever. And then there's like this little hump that you get over where it's like, okay, now we can settle into the relationship. And I feel like we're right on the hump, like with what I'm in right now,
Yeah, totally. It's an interesting place, and it happens at different points. And I feel like if you could talk about it, kind of in the way that you described, it's really useful because then you're not like navigating the hump, feeling like turbulence, like, are we both gonna get through this? It's like you can talk about it.
Yeah, 100. So
what were you gonna
back
say?
to, well, I want to go back to Ritaro and Matomi because going off of what you said, like when they first check into this resort, the hosts make this comment about Matomi looking like his older sister. And they kind of laughed about it at first, but Matomi does bring up, like, why didn't you tell me you had tattoos? Why didn't you tell me your hair was blonde? Like, you should have told me that. And he was like, you mean I should have told you were going to be scared of the way I looked? And she was like, yeah, why not? Like, she was kind of like poking fun with him at him as far as like the shock factor. But what I thought was so fucking cute is we watched them because he's a hairstylist and she apparently cut her own bangs. So he's like, your bangs are too long. And she's like, I cut them myself. He's like, that's why. And she's like, I want you to cut them for me. And like, he's blow drying her hair when she gets out of the bath, she says. And like, they really start to develop and you see her catch feelings like, oh my God, no, like I actually really like this guy. And I feel like he has remained true to himself and super stable. So it's been really fun to watch them kind of blossom.
I know.
In like the most innocent way.
I didn't know how this was going to go. I
Me
really
neither.
didn't. I thought that they were like, I knew that they had a good connection because like the letter writing back and forth, I think really helped them explore and establish, like, do I like the person that this is in a way that you can't just do, just like asking questions and feeling like you're in an interview. But then when they got together, I was like, is she going to be so put off by what he looks like and him being kind of this alternative dude?
Right.
And he almost is like a bit apologetic about it as well, which I'm kind of like, Taro, like,
just own
you're
it.
Rad. Yeah. You are rad. Yeah, you wear Converse on the beach. You're rad.
Fuck yeah. Yes.
sounds a little uncomfortable. Like,
Shuby,
there's a part of me that like
you.
I know, like I do want to like release our feet from our foot prisons on the beach. But you know what? Do you? This is your life and your vacation, not mine.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if the fact that they looked so different and they recognized how different they were aesthetically was going to like put them off as like, you're really just not the typical type that I go for. But I think once they engaged in that little like almost like caretaking, I think it helped bridge the gap of like, oh yeah, we are connected because of who we are, not what we look like.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. I'm super stoked to see where they go in their relationship. We see Wataru and Midori check in, and they're so like, they feel like a seasoned fucking couple to me. Like they're just together. And what I love about Wataru is he says, he's like, I like her, so I'm not too worried about it, like if it's going to work out or not. And she's saying that he's very verbally affectionate. And so very honestly, Midori is like, there's parts of her that are like, am I really worthy of this kind of love coming up? Which, girl, I fucking get that. I have been there too, where you're like dating someone who is so like into you and you're like, wait, really? Me? Me? So I felt that, but I love that she's not letting that pull her away from him, because I think sometimes that can totally happen. It's just, they have really good conversations. She starts to ask, like, you know, I'm open, I kind of want to go to grad school, which might be outside of Japan. How do you feel about that? And he's like, I'm down for whatever, I'll go with you, whatever, like totally cool. And so that's great. And they're just doing good. So
I think they happen to be, I know. I think that they just happen to be a really good fit for each other. I think the only thing that's interfering at this stage right now, which I have no issue with because it makes sense, is Midori is not, her anxiety is sort of coming up. She's anxious about a couple of things. She's like worried if she's attracted to him. She's worried if she's deserving of the affection that he gives her. And I get that. Like, there's a difference between someone telling you, I really like you, you're really special, X, Y, and Z, and someone just putting you on a pedestal where you're like, I feel like I could be anyone and you'd be saying this shit to me. That's different. I don't think that that's what she's experiencing.
No.
I think she was worried about how being in a relationship right now would work for what's going on in her life, like her school and her career. And I think she happened to find someone that is like pretty emotionally mature and also flexible with where he is and where he wants to be, and is like down to support his girl.
Yeah, 100%. I love
so
it.
I hope that she just like loosens up. I wonder if she'll start to feel like she can loosen up when she starts to see how like there are other couples at very different stages, and I mean, she might start to realize like, oh, we're in a good thing.
spot.
Yeah.
100. Yeah. Okay, who do we want to go to next? I kind of want to save Odachi and Nanako for the end.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk about Priya and Mizuki.
Okay, great.
Because this is interesting. Also, we see Priya and Mizuki and Karo and
Misaki.
thank you. Karo and Misaki connect over dinner, like just the four of them. They do not yet interact with the rest of the other group at all. And I wonder if that's like specific because of the Wataru Priya Midori triangle.
Maybe.
And I think that they're like slowly, I don't know. That was just my idea. But something happens that stands out to Priya, which I'm curious how this gets navigated, because we see this and then we never hear from them ever again.
I know. I'm kind of upset about it.
Me too. 2 episodes, nothing? Crazy.
I know.
But they're connecting over dinner. Obviously it's awkward because it's not like the big group like we typically see. And it's just the four of them, and everyone's kind of meeting each other for the first time outside of like the boys knowing the boys and the girls knowing the girls. And it's awkward and it's weird. And I think Mizuki like does something that is probably typical of his dating rhetoric of the past. And he does out of like a stressed situation. Hey, Jax, is he speaking?
No, we're good.
Okay, cool.
We just heard a knock or some shit.
We heard a noise and we were like,
no, Bubba. Brr. Yeah. I don't know if you just heard him bark.
I didn't hear a bark. I just heard like a brr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh, that was a little woof. That was a true
Bubba.
Classic woof.
Hi. We're okay. Okay, go ahead.
I think Mizuki does something out of a stressed situation. He's like ordering wine, and he was like, "What's the most expensive one?" And the guy's like, "That one." And he says the name. He's like, "Okay, that one." And Priya was like, "Fuck that." She hated it. Her whole face changed. Her whole body language. You could see she went in. That girl went inward. And she says pretty defiantly in a private interview, she was like, if he's doing this for me, it's not working for me. This is not getting the reaction out of me he probably thinks it would. I don't like this. It's pretentious.
Yeah.
He can go take that elsewhere for someone else that would work for.
Yeah. So it was really I want them to have a conversation, and I want to hear it, because it's like she very much is still like, she knows he went bankrupt, she knows he built himself or like got himself out of that, she knows he has a steakhouse now, which also with the F&B industry, it's like, you know, maybe he's a wine snob because he owns a bougie steakhouse, you know what I mean?
Okay, but he doesn't even know how to pronounce the wine. He doesn't even know the wine. Like this, like to me, he's not even a wine snob. This is just him being a snob.
Yeah. And so for her, she's looking at this entire thing from a lens of like, yo, you can't afford this. And it's like that's a assumption. Like, she doesn't quite know what his financial situation is right now. Maybe he can. And he's more well off now that he has this situation. But I agree that it was like, it felt like a little like, oh my God, I need to make a decision and I want to look good. Like, so I'm just going to make this decision. And it just, yeah, it was weird. I really just think they need to have a conversation around it. Where she and Kurt, like, look, I like you, they like you, like, you don't need to do that for us, you don't need to put on a front for us. Also, like, want to check in with you, like, can you afford to spend that kind of money on a bottle of wine? Like, because that is more important to me, like us, you know, being financially responsible than us trying to like, you know, treat people to some standard.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And we didn't get to see them talk about it, so I hope we do get to see them talk about it.
Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
hope so too, because I think that they could be a good couple, but I think that he needs, it will, if he takes well to this, it will be a learning curve for him that like the things that he typically does to impress women that he's dating will not serve this particular, excuse me, this particular partner. Also, I'm making an assumption where I probably don't deserve to make one, but we have a platform, and so therefore I'm using it to make an assumption.
Okay.
So, um, Mizuki also says that he grew up heavier and how that hurt his confidence. And obviously, he's like a slimmer guy now.
Yeah.
Very handsome. Very, very,
Yeah.
very handsome. Um, and I wonder if he he moves forward with his money, whatever money he does have,
So
because
true. Yeah.
internally he just feels like a version of himself that was not he felt wasn't lovable, and maybe the world at that time was confirming he wasn't lovable.
Yeah. And so now he uses, let me buy this cool wine that's bougie to be confident, to put on this air of whatever so that I'm
Yeah,
accepted and adored. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yo, it need they I hope they have a conversation.
yeah, me
The
too.
end. Um, who's next?
Let's talk about let's wrap up Caro and my goodness, Misaki.
Misaki.
Yeah.
So they first get to their hotel room. She says she's hungry. He offers her breath mints, and she was like cracking up over that. She was like, "Oh my god, what an airhead!" Like so there's a few times where she calls him an airhead or goofy, and again, this could be lost in translation
Mm-hmm.
with exactly what she's trying to express. But that was the kind of yellow flag that jumped up, and I'm like, "Oh my god, do you think he's like, you know, I don't know about you, but like I don't want to be in a relationship with someone I think is an airhead or ditzy or unintelligent, or, you know, I don't want to use the word contemptuous because it didn't feel like I'm better than you. That's not how it felt. Sorry, there's lots of weird noises in this
It's
apartment
okay.
today.
It's okay. The spirits
But
are with us.
I
Spirits,
know
be our
spirits
gods.
are with us. I don't know, or something, you know, maybe we're having weather in the desert.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you.
yeah.
I can't tell how she feels about it. I
Yeah,
can't
like
tell if she like thinks it's hilarious or if she's um
turned off by
noticing
it.
and turned off by it. But
Yeah.
what I do think I wouldn't love is being Misaki and having my partner sort of point out
Call
things
me
that
an
were making me
airhead.
feel like stupid.
Yeah. And
And he
so
kind of noticed
far,
it. He was like, people have called me an airhead a couple times.
yeah.
And I was like,
And I
you're
really
so
feel
cute.
Yeah, and I feel like Masaki's one of the coolest dudes there. Like, look at what he does for work. Like, he's a baseball coach to the Kenyan baseball team, and so it's just like, to me, that's really fucking dope. But
Mm.
it also, and he doesn't come from a traditional background, so I think what she is feeling is like airheady is way more like playful, carefree. There's a sense of like innocence there, you know, that I think maybe she has not like wasn't tolerated within her as a child, you know, like I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe like, and again, this is me making an assumption, just because it's like I feel that she has alluded to like what she has come from, what she's been through, that, and this is very, you know, I can relate to her in the sense that like as a child, the playful carefree side of me was kind of pushed out of me because it was like, you need
Right.
to be serious, you need to focus, you need to do this. And
Right.
so for a while I used to be judgmental of playful people. I'd be like, god, you're so
Right.
immature, when really it was like a
Right.
jealousy thing because I felt I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to be that way. And so I'm
Yeah.
curious to know like what's coming up for her. Does she admire that in him, or is she turned off by it? Is she jealous of it? Like, we'll see,
Mm-hmm.
time will tell. But that's my only
Mm-hmm.
thing so far with them.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I understand why she's guarded and like uh creating some barriers to feeling like good with him. I hope that she lets go a little at whatever pace she can, because he's rad and he's very cool and he's very sweet, and he is really interested in getting to know her on a really deep level.
Yeah.
And I think that she would be served greatly if she allowed that to happen during this time.
I think she deserves it. Like, I
Yeah,
think that girl
he does
deserves to
too.
laugh and be free. Yeah. And I hope he gets to bring that out of her, because it's a beautiful thing to have in life. Life is so fucking short. We need to laugh more. We need to play more.
Yeah,
Like, let's enjoy
agreed.
it.
He got her to sing, which, I mean,
I
she's been singing,
know.
but he like got
Yeah.
her to sing like just the two of them,
And then he was
which
like,
was
"You're
cool.
so good." It was cute. It was super cute. All right. Who are we jumping to next?
um, let's talk about
Minami Mori?
Mori and Minami.
Perfect.
They're so
Yeah.
interesting.
They they really are. Minami is so her. She don't care. She's like, I'm sleeping in, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And Mori, I feel, is a little bit more regimented. He's a
Hmm.
doctor, right? Isn't he a doctor? He's the
He's a
cosmetologist.
doctor, and if you remember, I forget what his chosen profession would have been, but because to help out his family, he became a doctor. So
Mm,
I say that because that rigidity, that regimen that he has may not just be from work, it sounds like he has been in a position in where he's had to be responsible for a really long time. And
yeah.
maybe less not as like silly and carefree as he probably would have liked to be. It seems like out of necessity. And so, kind of like what you were just saying, I
Yeah.
wonder if some of the friction that we're starting to, it's not friction per se, but it's Maury's a very careful, cautious, thoughtful kind of guy. We saw him struggling in the pods, making a decision. He knew that he connected with Minami, but he wouldn't let himself just be like, oh my God, I like her so much.
Right.
And I feel like we're seeing this now. He admires her. He admires that she shows up as herself everywhere she goes. But I think he's also a little peeved about it. And I
Yeah.
wonder if it's a little bit of an
Similar thing.
internalized, like a little bit jealous, like that
Yeah.
she is exactly who she is, and she doesn't have to take that responsibility in a
Yeah,
different
he
way.
uses actually the same language as Caro uses, where he says she comes across as an airhead and goofy. So it's like the subtitles said airhead, and I think the dub said goofy. So I
Mm,
just think it's interesting that they don't quite match up. And I'm
yeah,
doing this purposefully because I'm wondering which is more accurate.
agreed.
But he
Yeah,
says he finds her quirks adorable, and then they do have a beautiful quiet time together where they just read. And I was like, I was kind of getting turned on for them watching that. I was like, this just feels so like safe and comfy and sexy in its own way. Like, even though they were
yeah.
fully clothed, there was no making out, there was none of that, but like the calmness between them was so palpable that I was like,
Yeah,
that to me is a turn on. Like, when I can be that calm and safe with someone, it's like, ooh, like that's hot,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh yeah, I
Um,
felt the same way. Hmm.
yeah, and so then they get to the beach, and he very much admits, like, my work's kind of made me unemotional, but I'm not always that way. And she's like, I'm always a goofball.
Yeah.
So I hope that, similar to Karu, or Karo, I really hope that Mori can allow his partner to be who they are and bring that carefree, playful side out of them,
Hmm.
because it's like, life is so serious, and when you have a serious career, it's nice to have some comedic relief, like in someone who can just be there for you and remind you, like, not to take life so fucking seriously, especially after you have had to take life seriously just to fucking survive it.
Ain't
So
that the fucking truth? Wow.
yeah. And so they start to have a conversation around like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And he's like, he really has a passion for like helping people in other countries that are underdeveloped. And so he wants to be able to support people who are hardworking and talented, but don't necessarily have the monetary means to like get to the place in their career that they want to. And so he wants to be able to do that, which I think is so sick. Like, I love that about him. And so she asks, she's like, would you bring your family with him? And he's like, it depends, like maybe, or maybe it's just a matter of like traveling back and forth. So I think that's a really good conversation that they're starting to have, if that's something that he ends up really pursuing.
Right.
And then the funniest fucking thing happened, but I thought it was so great, where he's like, he makes, again, I'm paraphrasing here, he says something like, we'll see how my personality like if it rubs you the wrong way. And she's like, well, there's already been something. And he was like, wait, what? Really? Like, tell me. And I thought it was so cute, because she's like, can I really tell you? Like, she's asking for consent.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And she goes, you leave your hair in the shower, can you like clean it up? And he was like, oh, okay, so it's not my personality. Yeah, I can do that. But then for Maury, he's like, she likes things a particular way. So I wonder how much of that's going to bother him, is what he starts to say. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely clean your hair out of the shower, y'all. Just do
clean your
it.
hair out of the fucking shower. Come on.
Don't make your girl do it for you.
Don't make your girl do it for you. Like, for people with long hair, we have to do this. Yeah. We have to do this.
I have a tub shroom for it, just like,
you have a tub shroom.
Things. Yeah, so fucking helpful.
Oh, I do a toe grab.
A what? A toe grab?
I do like a toe like removal in every I don't I wash my hair like once a week. But like when I do wash my hair,
mine's oily, so I feel it.
Yeah, mine does not oil produce very often. Yeah. Respect. Also, you have to like train your hair to like it's tough. You have to go through oily. You have to go through oily days. Yeah.
If we have to sidebar on this too. I feel so unintelligent about my own hair.
So I watch sometimes like JVN like hair.
I love him. Yeah.
But he does a little like, because he has this whole like hair care line. Yeah. He has like a YouTube channel, or they actually, their pronouns are they. So they have a YouTube channel where they like do like hair tips. And so they sell an oil, obviously. And so they were like, but they were saying like, our hair will often produce oil, especially once it's dried out and stripped, because once it's dried out, it cues itself to produce oil again. So if you are not removing oil often, then it is not producing as much so frequently and so quickly.
Oh my God, I was raised being told, you have such oily hair, you need to wash it every day with a clarifying shampoo, which literally strips it. So basically, because of that messaging, I've been contributing to my own demise. Okay.
So I'm
gonna need to go watch their YouTube channel.
Yeah, and they sell a pre-wash scalp oil, which allows for some oil before shampooing. So when you shampoo it, it doesn't strip everything. There's like some oil. So like, it sounds counterintuitive, but the oil is allowing for the hair follicles to make sure that they are not just, oh my God, quick. We need oil. Yeah.
So I hope you all enjoyed our Ditch the Script hair tutorial today. I needed it.
Brought to you by Brianna.
But I'm obsessed with them. So
hair types matter too, though. Like, you do have like finer, straighter hair, and you have a lot of it. You have a lot of it, which is gorgeous. But that will like, it's different than textured hair. Textured hair doesn't produce as much oil. That's why we were always like, you got to get oil products to like reinvigorate it. Okay. Anywho's Roonies, that's not what we came here to talk about.
Who are we gonna talk about next? Nana and Yudai. We'll talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I guess Nana, Yudai, and then Nanako and Urachi.
Yeah, so Nana and Yudai, they're really focusing on developing trust, or at least that's what Nana says. And then they go on a little nature walk, and they stop at some swings, and then he starts to say, like, I want to check in with you about how you're feeling. And then that's literally all we get. Dun dun dun. Okay. Um, and then let's go over to Odachi and Nanako. So they go shopping and Nanako gets stoked about Okinawan purple sweet potatoes. Yo, they're fucking amazing. That's why she gets stoked about them. Odachi's all like, can someone really get this excited about purple yams? And the answer is yeah. Okay?
Yes.
If girls like potatoes, let them love their potatoes. I love a good potato. And I also love baked goods and scented candles, and I will get so excited about them. So like adore that. I think it's so cute when my partner gets excited about something that's like simple or like very surface level
Yeah.
like that. It's like it's a great little innocent thing. Like let them have it.
Yeah, be excited with them.
But here's what I think is like Odachi's demise here is like he starts to realize like, oh my gosh, like she really likes going out, she really likes doing things, but he wants his marriage to be the same as how he spends time with his family, like not having to do something all of the time. And now here's the thing is he acknowledges I need to talk to her about it, but then he doesn't talk to her about it. And
Right.
so what we start to see happen between these two is they do these events. They go to this like glass blowing class, which I really would be so down to try that. That looks so much fun.
Yep.
And then they're having breakfast together. What is starting to happen is Odachi's going internal. He is not communicating to her, so he's just checking out. So they're on this glass blowing date. He's not really connecting with her. He's not speaking up. He's not really participating. He's kind of just sitting there watching Nanako do her thing. Then they have breakfast together and it's so awkwardly quiet you could hear a pin drop. And so what Nanako starts to say, because she has an anxious attachment style and he's not saying anything, so she starts to think like, oh my gosh, he's not trying to move the relationship forward, aka he doesn't care about me. She starts to notice like he's working a lot, like he's retreating into his computer, which makes her feel like he doesn't want to connect with her. And now she is silencing herself. So now we have two people at odds with one another because neither one of them is opening up and being vulnerable and sharing with what's going on.
Yeah.
Yikes. So then we have, and I was so looking forward to this, we have an Okinawa party where all the couples come together to meet. And I was
except for
so
two couples.
Three.
Well, three couples, but we learn why. We don't learn why the other two aren't there.
Priya and her guy don't show up. Nana and Yudai don't show up. And Karu and Misaki don't show up.
Why?
Why? And we never find out why. Well, let's just start here. So as we start to watch this, everyone meets everybody. Immediately the guys go off to go chitty chat. Girls go off to go chitty chat. There wasn't any I'm a Steelio girl, I'm a Steelio guy vibes, which I was like, wow, breath of fresh fucking air. Everyone's being respectful.
We're not having some like crazy pool party where everyone starts cheating on each other.
Your foot. I know, and like saying weird shit. But here's what I think is so wild. Nanako opens up to the girls just being like with exactly what I just shared with the class, you know, like this is what's happening, this is how I'm feeling. And all of the girls are like, you need to talk to him about it. You need to talk to him about it. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Because you'll be able to see, and what I loved about what Midori said, she's like, you'll be able to see really quick based off of how he responds if it's someone you want to keep being with or not. And I stand by that myself with my clients all the time. We get so fucking scared the first time conflict comes up because it's like, but what if they leave me? Okay, well, so fucking be it. Because it's like, if like that's not sustainable. You can't silence yourself for the rest of your relationship because you're too scared of having conflict. So you just avoid conflict altogether, which ends up fucking your relationship up anyway. So it's like you might as well rip the Band-Aid off, see how they react, and it give them an opportunity to prove you wrong in the sense that they're not going to respond out of, you know, disrespect, unkindness, anger, whatever. And so what ends up happening is after this party, are we good to jump there? Are we good to go there? Does anything else really happen on the party?
I'm literally on your bus.
Okay.
Take me.
She's strapped in. We're going.
We're going to our final destination.
Yeah. So Odachi and Nanako end up being back at their hotel room. And she says, I'm wondering what you're doing here, which I'm like, ooh, not the best way to start this conversation. Because it can sound really off-putting. Thankfully, Odachi did not get defensive hearing that. I would have definitely whispered in Nanako's ear, being like, hey, I'm feeling disconnected from you. Like, come from a place of vulnerability. And so she starts to go, I'm feeling further and further away, which I'm like, okay, better. And he apologizes. And then she starts to say, you know, you don't match up to the person that I met in the pods. Again, kind of harsh.
Didn't love that.
Yeah. I was like, instead, it would have been better to make a request and see how he handles it, right? And she goes on to say, I feel disconnected from you when you prioritize work when we're together. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is helpful language.
Yeah.
Could you, oh, wait, no, I think this is what I was trying to say she should have said. But she does say something like that. And what ends up happening is Odachi speaks up and is like, when we were in the pods, I thought you brought out the real me. Like, it really felt like you brought out this side of me that was playful and outgoing and yada, yada, yada. And then he asks her, like, are you okay to sleep on it and have another conversation in the morning so he can gather his thoughts? And at this point, she's like, I don't feel like I can be with you. And he says he really regrets being that way and making her come to that conclusion. And so here's what I think happened, because Nanako opens up as we start to see them kind of pull away from each other. She starts to say in her last relationship, she didn't feel safe bringing things up with her partner. She felt that, which probably means she was verbally accosted anytime she did try to bring something up with her partner. And so now, because they've spent a day or 2 days in this weird disconnected void, because neither of them were comfortable being vulnerable and just squashing it as soon as possible, she now has developed so much fear and anxiety around the situation that she's choosing to remove herself from the relationship, where just based off this conversation, it looks like Odachi would have actually been so willing to have a conversation around this and make it better. But again, her own shit sabotaged, her own stuff sabotaged. Wow.
You got it.
It sabotaged her ability to see through the relationship, which breaks my heart, because it's like, Nanako, you're gonna have to face this fear with no matter who you're with. And Odachi, I think, would have been a great person, because he immediately apologized and was really calm, like, you know, and caring about it. He wasn't off-putting.
Like, I think Odachi absolutely has stuff to work on, because I'm really curious about Odachi's understanding of his own experience of, like, what was it that he was, like, trying to become in the pods? What was he trying on? What about that felt like him? What about that didn't feel like him? Where's the disconnect between there and now? And I feel like Nanako's like, she's just getting the tip of the iceberg of what that's like for him, and she's just decided that because it's not what she was expecting and not what she was getting familiar with, she probably feels misled and feels betrayed and is like, oh, I'm out. And I understand why she would feel that way, but I just think that she hasn't given it any room for this to, like, be explored
and to grow. And, like, you know, I think a thing that a lot of people don't understand is, like, healing happens within relationship, not necessarily like, yes, there's aspects of healing that can happen in isolation, but when it comes to relational healing, where, like, she had a bad experience with her ex-husband where she couldn't bring things up, the only way that you fix that is by bringing things up with a new partner and seeing how they respond, because then that'll give you the clarity you need on, is this person like my ex-husband or are they not? But she had kind of, I feel like she went into that conversation already making her mind up, not doing necessarily what the girls were saying, because Midori was like, see how he reacts, see how he responds, have the conversation. But she went into it being like, this is how I'm feeling, I'm out, instead of being like, how do you feel? What's going on for you, Odachi? How would you want to remedy this, right? It felt really one-sided because of where she was already as she started this conversation. And that is not going to ever bring healing, because the truth is like, okay, so Nanako breaks up with Odachi, she starts dating again, she meets someone else, and it's like, at some point something like this is going to happen, and if you're too scared to bring it up and you're waiting for them to bring it up, you're literally sabotaging yourself, and it's just going to be the same cycle over and over and over again, you know? So it's like, we have to do the opposite thing. Like, if you were silencing yourself before, speak up now, see how they respond, then make your decision, you know?
Yeah.
So I think she missed an opportunity.
I think they both did. Like, Odachi
Yeah.
needed to say something way sooner.
When he said he needed to say something, it's like, why do you say I need to talk to her about it and then not talk to her about it?
Yeah, literally. And I get it. Yeah. It's scary. It's scary to have difficult conversations with a new person in your world, but like, it never serves us to just like hang on to it and say absolutely nothing.
No, and that's where I would really guide them into using that kind of language, being like share that with your partner, like, hey, I have to bring something up and there's a part of me that's really scared because in the past when I've brought things up with partners, it's gotten icky. And so I really want to have a conversation with you, but I want to keep it as calm and like respectful and open as possible. Like, is this a good time for you? Like, own it, preface it, just say it, because what won't serve you is harboring those emotions and then allowing those emotions to dictate the words that come out of your mouth, which are going to be layered with those emotions, right? So it's like, if I can just tell you, hey, I'm freaking out, but we need to talk about this, then it allows for me to be like, okay, I already know that how I'm feeling. I know how my partner's feeling. And like, now we can handle with care, you know? Yeah. It made me sad. It made me sad because I felt like they could have been great.
They could have been, I think they could have been great. I wonder what's going to happen. Like, I wonder if that's really like the kibosh. But I think,
I guess that's true. We didn't see her leave with her suitcase.
No, nothing's happened yet. Nothing official. Not like what we see with Nana and Yudai.
So let's jump over there.
Yeah, so we're like at the party where everyone, I guess, except for these three couples, are present for reasons unbeknownst to us. And Yudai shows up alone. And we haven't checked in with Yudai and Nana for like a while. Yeah. And this was so interesting how they did this.
It was so interesting. Crazy. It's guys, so not the Americanized version of the show.
No. Yeah. If you know the like American Love is Blind, like most of our listeners have, you know that this would have never been the case. But if you're not watching this, let me paint you a picture. Basically, Yudai shows up. He's alone. Everyone's like, where's Nana? Why is Yudai alone? What's going on? And then Netflix takes us backwards and starts at the beginning of their like union and their connection. Yeah. Even the pods, the editing. They like reveal to us conversations that we'd not even heard yet. I was like, how did they just like Rickroll us? What is happening? And then they like tell us. So basically what we learn, and we see a series of conversations that we're literally like never seen or heard by the public. Nana's basically saying in the pods with Yudai, like, how do you feel about having kids? And Yudai's like, I would absolutely be down to have children. Like, having a couple kids is important to me. And she's like being realistic with him about her timeline. She's like, I'm 32, you know, I probably would need to start having kids in the next 2 years. And he's like, I totally hear you. Gotcha. So they get together with Nana operating under the assumption that if they stay together, like this is part of the plan. And Yudai's like, yeah. And then in classic young, typically male fashion, they get to being with each other. And it's like the first day they have this conversation where he's like, I'm not sure. He says something to the effect of being like, I don't know if I'd be ready to have kids that soon. And she was like, spiritual, dude, what the fuck? Yeah. I felt this from her. I was like, wow, she just ripped pages out of my journal. This is so bizarre to watch at this time. But she's just like, I was honest with you. And I thought that she doesn't blame him. And I think that she's like a pretty down-ass chick for not putting all of this on him. Because I think she's taken into consideration that like he's young and
he's 23, just to be clear. Yeah. So 2 years is 25. Like having children at 25 and your girl's 34, that's a lot. I can understand that. And I think like Yudai and his innocence, like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt where like he probably just liked her a lot and was like so excited to meet her and get to experience her that he was like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. But like you said, like that's a very like hopeless romantic early 20s things to kind of do.
Right.
And it came back to bite him in the ass, and he admitted that. He's like, as I met her, it became more and more real. And then I was like, oh shit, like 2 years from
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think what happened was very human.
yeah, agreed.
But what pisses me off, and maybe because it just hits home for me right now,
Yeah.
is like when people are telling you what they're looking for and what they want, please be responsible in hearing what they are saying.
Yeah.
Hear them. Listen
Yeah.
to what it is that they are communicating. I am a person who wants this for my future, just like anyone else might say in the same casual and assuredness manner of saying, I would love to move to Colorado and work there. You know what I mean? Like, we get to say shit like that all the time, but the minute that we start being like, I want to have a family, people are like, whoa, crazy. That's insane. And it's like, it's not that insane. I just know what I want. You don't have to provide that to me. You don't even have to be ready for that right now. I'm just giving you all of the material. I'm managing your expectations. So please manage mine.
Yeah, exactly. It's so wild to me that because like so first of all, I want to like paint a very different picture. Like I am happy to give Udai the benefit of the doubt because he's 20 fucking 3. But when we get to like late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even I know 70-year-olds who are like I don't know, dating again and not having these conversations from an honest place. It's like, yo, at that point, I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt anymore because it's like you are an adult and you need to, when you're dating and you're trying to build a partnership with someone, you need to face the facts of what is coming out of the person's mouth and align that or not align that with what you actually desire. But do not low key gaslight by being like, well, that's a lot really soon. It's like, no, it's not for where I am in my life.
Yeah.
And the other thing is do not hear them, know from the get that that's not what you want and continue to date them and pursue them. That shit is unhealthy as fuck and not okay to the other. It's not fair to the other person. It's not fair to you, if you do that. But it's just like, it's all sorts of clusterfucks when you do that to yourself. So it's like, it's not anything personal. It doesn't make anyone right or wrong, good or bad. It's two humans being like, hey, I want kids. I don't want, like for me, I don't want kids. If I'm dating someone and I'm telling you from the beginning, like, I don't want kids, and we get a year into a relationship and you're like, well, someday I'm going to want kids. It's like, you just wasted a year of my time. Because from the beginning, I told you that wasn't on the radar for me. And now you're telling me this. What the fuck? Right? So be honest with yourself about these aspects of your relationship that you want or don't want. And then communicate that. And ideally, your partner is actually, or whoever you're dating is hearing you and being forthcoming with their desires too. And if they're not, it's not your fault. That's the other thing I'll say.
Absolutely.
If they're pulling your chain, ain't your fault.
No, absolutely not. You were misled.
Yeah.
So Nana leaves, which makes me sad because I think that she's cool and I love her.
I literally went on Reddit and took a photo of the dress that she wore that I'm obsessed with.
Is it Free People?
On the Find Fashion, I don't know. It looks like it would be, but on the Find Fashion subreddit, I literally posted it. Was like, can someone please help me find this dress?
I love that for you.
Yeah, you know what else I just did is if anyone looks that up, they're totally gonna know what my or my Reddit handle is. So I just kind of fucked myself over. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well, that's okay. But
use that information with kindness in your heart.
If anyone knows where I can get that super cute dress that she was wearing when Yudai proposed, I want it.
Very cute.
Anyway, okay. What are we ditching?
Well,
I'm ditching silencing ourselves. Oh, what?
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, no. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
I was gonna
I'll say my thing after.
I'm saying if you have a thought to yourself where you're like, I need to talk to them about it, fucking talk to them about it. If
Totally.
you are the person who, like, because I was just in Nanako's shoes literally a couple days ago, where you're picking up on some energy and you're like, something's happening and I don't know what it is. Say something. Hey, I want to check in with you. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm sensing. Are you okay? Right? Because what Nanako was really feeling wasn't that Odachi didn't like her or didn't want to connect with her. It was that Odachi was feeling overwhelmed by the amount of activities they were doing and he wanted a break. And so his way of trying to take a break was to whip out his fucking laptop. But
I know, this shit could have been avoided.
Exactly. And so it's like, you guys, we need to be adults, okay? If you have something on your mind that's like, ooh, I need to talk to my partner about it, talk to them. If you're the partner that's receiving the weird energy and you're like, I don't know what's going on, say that. Hey, this is what I'm feeling and sensing. Can we talk about what's going on?
Yeah.
We need to have relationship conversations. We cannot be it's impossible to be a mind reader. It's impossible. It's impossible. So have the conversation.
Yeah. Facts. What am I ditching? I think I'm ditching. Listen, I say this with love, compassion, and understanding. Our guards that are up are there for very good reasons. They're there for really good reasons. I cannot stress that enough. And what I am ditching is like, we got to ditch our guards sometimes.
Yeah, we
just
do.
Dip a toe. Let it down for an afternoon. I'm not saying let it all the way down all of the time. Protect yourself, of course. Let it down for an afternoon. Set an intention. You're about to go have a date with a new person that you're dating. You recognize that you're cautious. You know why you're cautious, but you're also dating this person. Set the intention. I'm going to let myself be present with this person. I'm going to give myself permission to just be, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens, and I will check in with myself, and I will see how I felt about that. I will notice what I liked, what I didn't like, but you have to be able to give yourself some permission to be yourself without that person having to claw at you, being like, why can't I reach you? Because not everyone's going to do that.
Yeah.
And you might miss out on really amazing people that would bring a lot of joy into your life.
Yep.
All of these people's names that I can't remember in this very moment.
Oh, man. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody. If you liked it, leave a rating and review. If you're not following us on Instagram yet, follow us at Dish the Script Pod. Same for TikTok, same handle at Dish the Script Pod. And if you have a question you want us to answer, you want to apply for a free session with us, head to our website, dishthescriptpod.com, and we'll see you on the next one.
Wait, last thing I wanted to say before we log off. I wonder if you guys gonna like stay on the resort.
I don't think so. I think he'll get booted. We will see.
I love him.
I know, I like him too. I like them all.
I know, I like them all too.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Until next time.